Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Bitcoin is continuing the larger bearish trend, we are now seeing the price of Bitcoin potentially retest the point of the breakout, which is playing out into my Bitcoin trading strategy, which I'll be sharing in just a moment, while Ethereum is continuing to repeat history, but is getting very close to potentially breaking a critical level on the chart. So I'll be talking about all of that and more late in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin has not really changed all that much on this time frame. So if we're getting straight into the 2-day time frame, at least for now, the price of Bitcoin is still within this larger bearish trend on the 2-day chart, forming lower highs and lower lows, at least as of right now. But this is also forming this descending broadening wedge pattern, which can potentially turn out to be a bullish pattern with a bullish price target if we actually confirm a breakout above that resistance, which right now has not happened. But this line of resistance is sitting at around 68,500. So once again, if we see a confirmed breakout with candle closes above that level, above around 68 to 69,000, then that is where we can start flipping a lot more bullish again on the larger timeframes here. But obviously, as I've also said here on the channel, even during a larger bearish trend, we can see short-term bullish trends or short-term bullish reliefs during a larger bearish trend, which we've obviously seen over the last couple of weeks or so. And as I've also said recently here on the channel, potentially one of the reasons why we've seen a bit of a bullish relief here in the short term over recent days and weeks just here is likely due to the fact that we've seen a major crash to the downside here in the DXY or US dollar index. And usually when we see a major crash to the downside in the US dollar index, this is often an extremely bullish signal for Bitcoin and crypto. And now, with that being said, just over the last 1 day or so, we've actually seen a very slight bounce here in the DXY. So basically, we have not really seen a lot more bearish price action just over the last 1 day in the DXY, which is potentially one of the reasons why we've seen that slight pullback over the last 1 day in the price of Bitcoin, because the DXY has stopped playing out the bearish price action. But obviously, that's only a very slight bounce here in the short term. But overall, when we're looking at the trend at the moment in the DXY, things are still looking bearish for the DXY, which means at least in terms of the short-term bullish relief right now, this could potentially continue for the price of Bitcoin. But of course, nothing moves in a straight line. So these short-term pullbacks during this bullish relief are to be expected. And one of the reasons why we also saw that short-term pullback just over the last 1 day or so is due to the fact that we were running into this critical area of resistance just here that I have been talking about recently here on the channel at around 64,500, give or take. And so obviously we saw a rejection pretty much exactly from that area, and we came back down towards this level of previous resistance, now acting as new support, which I've also been talking about recently here on the channel, acting as support, which is sitting at around 62.8k to 62.9k. So basically just below 63k we have support, and at least at the time of recording this video, that's pretty much exactly where we're currently bouncing from. And so those are the short-term support and resistance levels that I'm currently paying attention to. But if we were to see a break back below around 62.8k, give or take, then in that case, we have a major area of support right here, sitting in between around 60,000 to 61,000 approximately. And as for resistance further to the upside here, in case we finally see a confirmed breakout back above around 64,500, in that case, we have this significant area of resistance in between around 67,000 to 68.3k. And now if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last few days, I've been talking about this short-term breakout from this bullish ascending triangle pattern, which we broke out from this line of resistance right here, which was sitting at around 61.8k to 61.9k, give or take. And if you've been watching my last few videos here on the channel over the last few days here, right around here, when the price of Bitcoin was back up here, I've been saying that if we see a bit of a short-term pullback, potentially coming back down to retest this previous resistance to flip it into new support, I've been saying that if this happens, personally, I'll be adding to a Bitcoin long position. And just over the last 1 day with this little pullback right here, I have started to add to a Bitcoin long position. And now, at least at the time of recording this video, I've still just started to slowly scale into a Bitcoin long position. So if we are to bounce right here without going any lower, then for me, it would be a relatively small Bitcoin long position, at least for now. But if we go a little bit lower before bouncing, potentially go all the way back down towards around 62,000, give or take, and then see a bounce, then personally, I'd be entering into a much larger long position. And so essentially the strategy at the moment, and if we're taking a look at my actual Bybit account right here, the strategy is to just layer my entry prices. So I have buy orders further to the downside here. So far I have triggered a few buy orders with this latest pullback right here. But at least for now, this is only currently around a $40,000 trade, as you can see on the left-hand side right here, $40,000 trade, so about 4,000 in margin on a 10x leverage trade. But as of right now, if we see a further pullback to just underneath 62,000, then personally, I'll be looking to increase this up to above basically a six-figure trade, above $100,000. But once again, considering we've only just seen a bit of a pullback here in the short term and not really seen the entire retest, actually retesting this previous line right here, at least for now, I've not entered the entire trade, only a smaller portion of the trade right now. I've only started to just enter into that trade with the initial buy orders. And so by utilizing this trading strategy, this entry strategy into this position, basically if we are to bounce right here without going any lower, personally I would already profit from this trade right now if we continue to bounce. But if we first go lower again and then eventually see a bounce later on, I would make even more profits as the price would basically enter more of that trade right here. So I would add more to that trade and also lower my entry price if we first go lower and then bounce. And so in other words, if we bounce right here, or if we bounce at 62.3K, or if we bounce at 61.9K, basically if we bounce anywhere around here, personally, I'd be making money from that situation. And as for my stop loss for this trade, in the worst case scenario, if the price continues pulling back here, and if we actually start seeing a confirmed break back below this line right here, so if we start seeing, for example, candle closes back below around 61.8K, then in that situation, I'll be looking to exit that position and basically take a small loss, just close that trade to avoid any further losses if we break back below this line right here, which at least for now has not happened. And as for the price targets for this trade right here, we do have this technical price target for the breakout for this pattern right here, which is sitting at around 69,500. But we also have to remember that between now and to that price target, there's also other levels of resistance along the way. And so personally, I'll be looking to take some profits off the table, not close the entire trade, but close a portion of the trade around these levels of resistance along the way, because at those resistance levels, they hold the possibility for the price to potentially not even make it towards the price target and basically reject from resistance along the way. And so once again, I'm starting to slowly scale into this Bitcoin long position as we're seeing a bit of a pullback here in the short term. I would completely close the position and cut a small loss right here if we start breaking below this level right here. And to take profits, I'll be looking at levels of resistance to start taking some profits and ultimately close out the majority of the trade by this price target right here. And as always, nothing that I say is personal financial advice for you because I don't know your personal financial situation. I'm just simply letting you know what I'm currently doing with my own money. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto for yourself, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is another exchange called Bitget right now, which is an alternative crypto exchange to Bybit, but you don't actually need any KYC for Bitget. So basically, if you're in the United States or the UK, for example, you might not be able to access Bybit, but you can access Bitget. And if you use the link down below this video, basically you can get up to a 5,500 USDT bonus. And also using the link down below this video, you can get up to 10% off all fees on the exchange, but only if you use that link. If you don't use that link, you don't get any fee discount. And so once again, as an alternative exchange to Bybit, if you want another option out there where you could also get potentially some decent bonuses and a discount on fees, then check out the link down below this video. It'll be the second link below this video. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and as of right now, we have a small amount of liquidity to the downside at around 62.6k, and a little bit more liquidity at around $60,000 to 60.6k. And we also have another level of liquidity to watch out for at around 58,500 and a little bit of a liquidity at around 65.3k to 65,500. But ultimately, these are not really any significant levels of liquidity, at least for now. So as of right now, the liquidation heat map is not really telling us all that much. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, and over the last 1 to 2 days, we've seen basically a perfect rejection from this exact critical level of resistance that I've been warning about non-stop over the last 1 to 2 weeks, which is sitting at around 2.8k, which was previous significant support for the price. So at least for now, 2.8k is still the strong resistance to pay attention to. But if we are to see a confirmed breakout above 2.8k, then in that case, the next major resistance is sitting at around 3.2k. In other words, we'd likely see a move back above $3,000 very quickly if we first break out above 2.8k. But ultimately, at least in the shorter term, we're still within this slight relief during the larger bearish trend. That is the current situation right now, as we are resetting the RSI on this 3-day time frame from very close to oversold territories, similar to what we saw back here. But ultimately, the larger trend on this 3-day time frame, at least for now, is still currently a bearish trend, as we are seeing lower highs and lower lows, which is what a bearish trend is. And if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 6-hour time frame right now and comparing it to the 6-hour time frame back during around April 2020, we can still see very similar price action at the moment compared to what we were seeing back then. But as of right now, at the time of recording this video, the price of ETH is now running into this ascending line of support, which is sitting at just above 2.6k. So basically, if we start breaking back below around 2.6k, at least in the short term, that would be a very bearish signal. And especially if we break below all of these lows right here, we have a lot of horizontal support right here close to 2.5k. And so basically, if we first break below 2.6k, that will be the first major signal in the short term telling us that we're no longer repeating history. And so if we break below 2.6k, expect to move down towards close to 2.5k, and that's the next major level of support. But if we break below 2.5k, then expect a move back down towards around 2.3k, very close to these local lows. And obviously, if we break back below 2.5k, that would also be a very bearish signal, at least in the short term, if that actually happens. But for now, at the time of recording this video, we're still holding just above 2.6k. So at least for now, it's still possible that we could remain within this ascending triangle pattern and ultimately see a breakout if we bounce very soon. And obviously, we'll still need to see a confirmed breakout above this line of resistance, which is still acting as strong resistance for the price that I've been talking about over and over again here on the channel, once again at around 2.8k approximately. And with that being said, taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, and right now the price of Solana is still struggling at this exact area of resistance that I've obviously been talking about here on the channel, in between around 159 to 163. So at least for now, that is still the resistance to pay attention to. But if we were to see a confirmed breakout back above around 163, then in that case, the next area to watch out for of resistance right here is sitting in between around 170 to 175, and above that area we have more resistance in between 183 to 187, and that area is significant resistance for the price. And as for support, we do have a little bit of short-term support at around 154 to 155 based on previous resistance, now acting as new support. But if we break back below around 154 to 155, then in that case, we have a major area of support right here at around 139 to 144. And below that area, we have a significant area of support in between 120 to 128. And as for the trends and momentum at the moment, at least for now, the short-term situation is that we're still within a bullish relief in the short term. So as of right now, I'm still more bullish than bearish in terms of the shorter term trend. But of course, we're still struggling around this resistance. So even though the shorter term momentum is looking a little bit more bullish at the moment, we cannot ignore resistance where the price is still likely to struggle at. And if we're zooming out, looking at the larger trend or momentum at the moment, ultimately we're still within a massive sideways price range, basically chopping around sideways in between this significant area of support and this significant area of resistance. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.